Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I'm your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now this is one of my quick fire videos in which I swiftly answer a question from a viewer. There's been no research on my behalf, this is me answering off the cuff a question which has been sent in. And I try and sprinkle these in amongst my longer form videos just to keep the interest flowing and our interaction going. So if you want to throw a quick fire question into me, drop it into the comment section below. So today's question is from Phil Webster, who has asked me, what are your favourite gentlemanly items which are both at once rugged and refined? And that's a good question, because a lot of the objects and accessories and items which are in the traditional gentleman's wardrobe, or he has access to in his normal life, they will have had a bit of heritage behind them. And of course in the past, most items that men had were utilitarian, and as a result they had originally perhaps a more rugged purpose than we now use them for in the modern era. So for me, the items which inhabit my wardrobe today, which are both rugged and refined, are things like my shoes, for instance. Now, the shoe, today we think of a dress shoe as something which is entirely formal and something which is to be worn predominantly with a suit or, our business attire. But actually, when we look back, shoes like the Brogue, their origin story is in absolutely working utilitarian footwear. The holes in a Brogue shoe, symbolised today, of course they're not actual holes in the shoe, but the broguing within the shoe was originally placed there so that the shoe, when a gentleman walked through the marshland or got totally sodden and wet, those holes in the broguing of the shoe would allow the shoe to expel the water, an egress point for the water. So something which was couched in a totally utilitarian purpose today is quite refined, because I like Brogues because they bring texture and pattern to a shoe, which in many cases, a Cap to Oxford shoe is rather plain. I rarely wear a plain shoe. Most of my shoes have a little bit of broguing somewhere. So it's both rugged, tough and rugged. You buy the right shoe, of course, Goodyear welted. It's going to stand up to any amount of hard wearing. You can wear it as they always used to be on if you're out for the day shooting or fishing. It is the Brogue which the gentleman wore in the countryside. And you can bring a little bit of countryside into your attire by wearing a Brogue shoe. So certainly it is both rugged and refined. What else do I talk about? Well, I tell you something, the very rugged and refined item which I couldn't be without in my wardrobe is the Tweed sports jacket. Of course, today we might think of that garment as being a little bit oldie-worldy, a little bit fuddy-duddy for the older gentleman. But actually, I think Tweed, its origins, of course, again, a working utilitarian material which was employed in a jacket or a suit going back a generation ago, again for the outdoorsman. The gamekeepers, the lords of the land, they would wear tweed because it was thick, it was rugged. Its densely knit material means it offers protection against brambles and things like that. It also gives an element of sort of waterproofness with its tight weave. And also because it's often found in earth colours, in your greens and browns, it is a bit of natural camouflage if you're out on a shooting party for the day or fishing for the day. That's the origin story of tweed. Of course, over the years, it has absolutely migrated to become a very much desired item in a gentleman's wardrobe, bringing texture, colour and pattern. These three things which I always look for in my garmentry, because those three things are often absent in modern clothing. You really don't see it. It's boring mundanity. But tweed, just delivers on all of those categories. And of course, there are so many different patterns of tweed available. There will be something which you like out there, something which will tick the box just for you. And when we think about, famous people who've worn tweed, I've often used this guy as a reference, and he's not even real, he's fictional, but James Bond. A very rugged, masculine man portrayed in that way in all of the movies, in all of the books, and in keeping with his character, the costumiers who've dressed Bond in the films often placed him in a tweed jacket. You know, Sean Connery in the tweed jacket, leaning against the Aston Martin DB5. It is one of the images of Bond which is burned into my memory, ingrained. When I think of James Bond, that's one of the classic images. And he was wearing a tweed jacket. So definitely it is refined, and it is also rugged as well. And finally, what can I talk about? Well, the wristwatch, right? One of my favourite things to talk about. What is rugged and refined? Well, you pick the right wristwatch, and today I'm wearing a Rolex Submariner, a watch which I probably wear more than any other piece in my small collection of watches. The reason I choose the Sub is because, well, same reason why James Bond chose it. It's a wristwatch which can do anything. It can put up with any amount of, you know, thrashings that you give it. You can go on holiday, jump in the pool, jump in the sea 10 times a day. It's not going to give this watch any trouble. Yet in the evening, when I want to go out to the hotel, bar, when I want to go to the restaurant, I'm wearing a watch which is going to be entirely acceptable in those situations as well. Even if I was to wear this watch with a dinner jacket, which I personally think would be an absolute faux pas, I would never do so. But of course, famously, people like Sean Connery, Roger Moore, when playing the Bond character, they have worn the Rolex Submariner. And when I say Submariner, you can substitute that for any stainless steel dive watch, you know, in your own collection or price point, wherever you want to pitch at. I'm only using the Sub as an example of something which is also refined and rugged, because, you know, it's something which you can wear in a classic situation, in a formal situation, and yet you can run straight out of that room, jump in the pool, undertake any amount of physical activity, and your watch is still going to come up laughing. Rugged and refined in personification. So there we go, sir. I hope you've enjoyed that response. If you'd like to ask me a quick fire question and get my off-the-cuff response, drop that question into the comment section below. I'd be delighted to answer it for you, just like this. If you've enjoyed the video, thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. If you want to support me personally and the channel, you can buy me a coffee. You'll find the link to that in the show notes below. And I will see you in the next video, looking rugged and refined in your own way. So until the next time, take care, and I will see you again very soon.